of you have heard that Christianity is one generation away from extinction? How many of you heard that? Yeah, we're only one generation away from extinction. It's so important that we pass the baton on to the next generation. So what does that really mean? Well, let's define what is a generation. Right, well, we have a few names for the generations. Right now, we call those who are born from 1946 to 1964 the baby boomers. The baby boomers. So currently, the baby boomers are anywhere between the ages of 52 and 70. If you're between the ages of 52 and 70, congratulations, you're a baby boomer. You're the result of the celebration of the end of World War II. If you're born from 1965 to 1979, you're Gen X. If you're anywhere between 37 and 51, you are Gen X. I'm kind of right in the middle of that. 1980 to 1995, you're called Millennial or Gen Y, if you want, Gen Y. And right now, you'd be between the ages of 21 and 36. If you're born between 1996 to 2010, you're now called Gen Z. And you're between the ages of 6 and 20. And lastly, they've got a new name now because they've run out of alphabet. So they've gone to Greek, as we like to do. We're finished with the English alphabet. We're going to the alpha beta, I guess. If you're born from 2011 to 2025, you're going to be in the category of Gen Alpha, and right now you're currently 1 to 5 years old. All right, so those are the generations. Now, there's a reason that I want you to understand this. Even though in the last election, we all know now that Donald J. Trump won, and many Christians are very happy about that. There is a very startling statistic that I want to show you, one of the most important stats that I saw during that election. If only millennials had voted, what would have happened? Well, we know that the millennials voted more for the Democrats than for the Republicans, so voted more for Hillary Clinton. But do you know by what percentage they would have voted if all of them actually turn up to vote? Do you have any idea, any guess? 70% would be just outrageously high, wouldn't it? 70% of people could agree on something, anything. It would be like statistically significant. 70% is a huge number, right? A lot of elections are won or lost just, in the 40%, right? 70%. Any other number? Okay, good, happy with that? Okay. This is a map of the United States. If only millennials voted, then Hillary Clinton would have gotten 97% of the vote. And you could say Trump would have gotten 3%, but actually that's not even entirely true. If there were other independent candidates, it would be less than that. So in the electoral college system, Hillary Clinton would have gotten 510 electoral votes, and Trump would have gotten 21. That is just amazing, isn't it? That is the result of monolithic mind control indoctrination. This is the result of sending kids to, I think, public education and having them learn just through social media. The American Press Institute reported on the 16th of March 2015, much of the concern has come from data that suggests adults ages 18 to 34, so-called millennials, do not visit news sites, read print newspapers, watch television news, or seek out news in great numbers. This generation instead spends more time on social networks, often on mobile devices. The worry is that millennials' awareness of the world, as a result, is narrow. Their discovery of events is incidental and passive. The major things going on in the world, they just kind of catch passively. And one day, they will become the population majority. They will become the leaders of the nation. So this is a great concern. Even though we have a great victory, we're all happy, Christians can say, God has answered our prayer, the Christian vote swung, the election result, and yet we have a lot of work to do. And I want to appeal to you who are watching by video, by YouTube, please watch to the end. Please listen. We have a lot of work to do. This is a graph of the difference between millennials and baby boomers, a generational divide in sources relied on for political news. So you can see there that 61% of millennials get their news from where? Facebook. Hey, wait a second, Facebook. These are the guys that now we know after the election, Twitter, Facebook, Google, they were getting orders from the top to censor traditional conservative views. They were not reporting news, they were making up the news and mind controlling the masses. This is Mark Zuckerberg, the young man who owns Facebook. I believe he was selected by the globalists. And this is a great picture of how he's walking around free while everyone else has got a mind control device on. Look, the left-wing media was completely wrong. They were trying to influence the election. They threw everything they could against a non-establishment candidate, someone that was an outsider, and they lost. This guy here, Stephen Colbert, said, mocked, said Trump could never win. You will never be president, he joked. Along with all the other, late-night talk show hosts, sitcoms, all these guys, left-wing entertainment guys and celebrities. But the mainstream media was so wrong. Here is ABC projecting Hillary Clinton a 79% chance of winning. 79%. That's their forecast. That's not reality. Now that we know the truth, we can look back at that and say, they absolutely fed the millennials a lie. And if they don't get their source of news from multiple independent sources, they would not know. And there was this whole thing about people were shocked and stunned. We weren't stunned at all. We were fully expecting a Donald Trump win. Instead, of course, 7 months ago, I put out a video, and I've been saying it even longer than that, where I predicted a Donald Trump win, and I predicted that there will be revival right after this. So he's won, revival's coming. Amen? But they were so wrong, and they've been proven wrong, and they're shameless. They don't even admit that they're wrong. Here's another projection, ABC News National Tracking Poll, election matchup, says that Hillary Clinton should have gotten 50% of the vote, Donald Trump 38%, Gary Johnson, the Libertarian, 5%, Jill Stein, the Green candidate, 2%. Absolutely not. It wasn't true at all. Hillary Clinton lost. And then just about a week before the election results, they came up with this. This is theweek.com. What would happen after the election if Trump loses? And so they drew this picture and they created this whole scare about how the right is going to be, so violent, they'll react irrationally. And look at that. See, there's that picture. That's what the millennials were fed. For 1.5 years, the right are bad. In fact, the right are your parents. They're the conservatives. The conservative people don't usually go out and do things like this. But that's what they painted. And guess what? Were they right? Instead, what's been happening for the past many weeks? Here's the left burning an effigy of Donald Trump. They are the ones going out, breaking up stores, looting stores, beating up people. There are videos that are going viral all over YouTube where these left-wingers are actually bashing Trump voters. And there's an example. And here are these guys who are being fed mainly through Facebook, going out there picketing, not even understanding, not my president. Well, here's a democratically elected person. How would the left respond? Isn't it a shame on them that they were trying to smear, they throw, their accusations at the right, and yet the right hasn't done anything of the sort. And the left has been violent and irrational, and this is what they're doing even to cop cars, and they've done it to multiple cities and states. Look at that, it's all over the states. And it's supposed to be spontaneous. But guess what? They got caught. It turns out that this is being funded by the multi-billionaire George Soros, whom we call an antichrist. And the Bible talks about that part of the world, Greek, Turkey, Syria, that's where the antichrist would come, not America or Western Europe. So here, WikiLeaks revealed. See, thank God for that. WikiLeaks published something that they wanted to keep secret. billionaire George Soros is linked to the anti-Trump protests. In fact, MoveOn.org, which is the website that he funds, is responsible for this. Within 2 hours of the call to action, MoveOn members had created more than 200 gatherings nationwide, with the number continuing to grow on Wednesday afternoon. And RT, the Russian news station, reported what WikiLeaks said. You can't even find this news on CNN, BBC, Facebook, such things. And now that I'm, part of the alternative media, getting the news out on Twitter and on YouTube, I know that the elite censor me. I know that they do. You don't know until you're a creator of content. So this is very real. Their censorship is real. And they even paid, you can go onto a job hunt list in America. It's called Craigslist. Here, I guess you got seek.com.au. But there, you got Craigslist. And on Craigslist, you could get paid money for going out to protest. So as these guys went out and got arrested, turns out a lot of the people have no idea they don't even follow the election. They were not even voters during the election. See, what a scam all of this is. But where's the millennial? How informed would they be? If they don't come to church today, if they're not watching this today, they would be fooled. They're being made a fool by the mainstream media. And George Soros, he's obviously friends with the Clintons. So they said it couldn't happen, but there it is. President Donald J. Trump. You know what? You know who got it right? The alternative media. We got it right. The Christians got it right.